Joe Scardo here, Spectacular Magazine. It is Prediction Friday. The 5-2 NC State Wolfpack are set to take on the 4-3 Louisville Cardinals at Carter Finley Stadium on Saturday night, which will be the Wolfpack homecoming. So a lot in store here at Carter Finley in a big game for the Wolfpack, who obviously dropped a tough one, 31-30 on the road to Miami, and now they have dropped to 25th in the nation. If they want to stay ranked, they must defeat an ACC rival who they are just 3-7 all time. But let's get into the three keys to victory and the final score prediction. Key number one for the Wolfpack, it's simple. It's just the next man has to step up. They have been decimated with injuries, and it didn't get much better last week. They already lost Cyrus Fagan and Peyton Wilson way back during that Mississippi State loss. And now in their second loss, they lose Isaiah Moore, the heart and soul of this defense, another captain. It's just a tough injury and a tough guy to lose, especially when in a game that they did not have Drake Thomas as well. So a lot of their leaders have been sidelined, and Dave Doran has talked about it. Their depth has been phenomenal. It's been a big reason why they've had so much success. But he did specify that if they keep on having these injuries, this is when it's going to get tough. This is when you're going to have to throw freshmen in, something that they haven't done. This is when you have to really dig deep in the depth chart, and they might not have the ability to be as successful with third and fourth stringers. But that might have to happen. So the next man must step up. Their depth has to perform if they want to keep going, especially on the defensive side where they've only allowed 16 points a game. But you saw it had a factor in last week, giving up 31. And Tyler Van Dyke, quarterback of Miami, had a day, 4 touchdown passes. So we have to see who will step up and who can make an impact, even though they wouldn't be an everyday starter. Key number two, and I feel like it's been a key quite often, it's to win the turnover battle. You know, this goes into the defense stepping up, and with those new guys coming in, guys that normally don't start games, they have to fill those injury slots. And with the offense, they have been so consistent in not turning over the ball. It's been quite some time. Since week 2 was the last time that Devin Leary has thrown an interception. He's still at 2 in the entire season. So if he is able to keep the football intact, extend the long drives, and then really make this defense, who is definitely depleted right now, their job a lot easier against a Cardinals team who does score 30-plus points a game, I think this will make a huge difference, especially when you're at home. Key number 3, it's got to be the ability to make halftime adjustments. This is something they have done relatively really well in the past 4 or 5 weeks. You could even say the entirety of the season. And Dave Doran and his staff have really, really perfected this. But the thing was, they weren't able to do it last week. This was already a tight game against Miami, and I thought they were really flat in the second half. You have to come out and playing your best football coming out of the second half. The ultimate goal is to start quick. But if you are able to make those adjustments mid-game when it's a tight game, and they've been in a lot of tight games at half, it was in Clemson. There was a tight game in Louisiana Tech. There was another tight game in BC at one point, believe it or not, even though they end up winning by 26. And it was a tight game in Miami last week. And they were able to adjust 3 out of those 4. Last week, I thought they were extremely flat. Their defense just didn't look in sync at all. And their offense wasn't really able to move the football despite not having turnovers. It doesn't matter if you're not able to put any points on the board. They only scored 13 points in the second half, while leading 17-14 in that half going into the third quarter. So you got to be able to make those adjustments, because this is something they have thrived on. And I expect this to be a close game in the first half. And again, and I'll talk about it again, you got to take advantage of being home, right? This is a place that they haven't lost yet, 4-0. So if they can do all of that, it should give them a very good chance to tally their 6th victory of the season. And now it's time for my final score prediction. The Wolfpack are favored by 7 here, and I'm going to give them a 6-point win by the score of 30-24. I do think they remain undefeated at home. This is a huge game. It's a must win. I simply think this game means more to the Wolfpack. They need to win to stay ranked. They need to win to stay in the hunt of the ACC championship, because Pittsburgh and Wake Forest clearly look like they're running away with it. And they need to win because it's homecoming. It's a big deal at NC State. So I got them winning 30-24. They realistically have to win the rest of the way. And this is a start, and this is a team who they've beaten 2 out of the last 3 times. They have fell to them the last matchup in 2019, but I think they get their revenge. They get the last laugh, and they get a W here to roll 6-2 on the season.